Welcome back, everyone, to our quick chat with our resident banker, calling himself Mr. Tell the Truth. It'd be interesting if you could tell us a few facts. We've already had a few facts established about mortgages, their reach, their power over your children, the fact you own nothing, and it will last for 100 years or maybe more, and include your children's lifetime because they're a purchasable item and you've offered them up. Does that summarise briefly where we're at, Mr. Tell the Truth? How do you sleep at night, Mr. Tell the Truth?
Oh, very well. I sleep very well.
I don't know how you can sleep at all, but that's okay. We're learning. What other tricks do you have up your sleeve, you and your banking friends, to manipulate us, control us?
We don't actually use any tricks. We actually tell you the truth all the time. It's just that people choose not to face the facts. They choose not to hear the truth. They choose to participate in all of this themselves. Would I not be right if I said to you, go and tell your best friend whom you trust and he trusts you that he's got a death pledge with me? What do you think he's going to do? You think he's going to question it? Even though I'd be quite happy to tell him, well, you will be able to, what situation he's in. What is he going to do? This is where you would have to be truthful to yourself. Can I have an answer, please?
I could try to tell him, but I don't think he's going to believe me because he's constantly bombarded by the television, the media, the newspapers, convincing him that your system of operation is real.
Are you telling me he doesn't have the ability to switch the television off?
Well, I think that he does, but whether he chooses to or not is another story.
And I think that's where the middleman comes in. If you can't make a choice, I'll make it for you.
You said at the beginning of our interview that you don't have any money. Where does the money come from that you lend to us or pretend to lend to us?
It's a simple enough deal. What happens is that you have value because you work, let's say 40 hours a week, and that is of value to me. And if you can work successfully 24 years or 25 years of that, and I can remove your sweat equity of that, and say through taxes and through the mortgages, the property taxes, I can take 80% of what you actually make. And the way that I'm doing it is that all I'm doing is gaining your power of attorney to talk on your behalf, to vote on your behalf, to even act on your behalf in your legal fiction world. And because you've handed that instrument over on the promise that I will give you something, is where I generate the money from. So I go to the stock market, my investors, and say, look, I've got this instrument from this particular gentleman, and he's saying to me that if I give him a certain amount of the fiat currency, which I can generate, he will give me this power of attorney to administer his affairs. I will say, well, how much is this worth to you, to my investors? And they will say, well, how much do you think he will make over a lifetime period? Let's say it's 100,000. They know that anything up to 60% of that is going to be theirs. So that's 60,000 pounds or dollars that I can gain over a 25-year period from you. And all I have to do is issue through my private bank, and it's called a private bank because for a reason, I don't need to show you whether I have the money or not. And because I have that instrument, my investors will give me that money and I can show that I have assets. And other banks, like the Treasury, will be quite happy to release those funds to me in order to give to you as fiat currency. So I've taken real money through your power of attorney, through the Treasury, transferred it through the power of attorney into my bank account, and now I get to administer that money to you through my banking system. That's how I generate the money. You have a business. The money that you put into the business can come from anywhere. Your investors, your family, your children, or from my own bank. And that's how it's done.
So you're telling me that I'm a commodity that's bought and sold on the stock market?
Well, no, your note is, yes. Not yourself. Yeah, your power of attorney gives me full power to administer all of your affairs. I mean, which bit of this do you folks not understand? I'm in possession of your power of attorney. Look here, I'm getting bored with this conversation. So I'm going to create a scenario for you. You have, shall we say, babies or children, and you have given your neighbor power of attorney over your children while you are traveling, say, for 7 years, doing whatever you're doing. Let's say you have a contract for a new job and you have to be gone for 7 years, and your neighbor has volunteered as a friend to say that he will look after your children and minister their affairs, as well as your fatherly duties. So you give him power of attorney. You understand that. You give him power to act on their behalf, if you like. And would you not expect him to respect that power of attorney? And would you not expect him to take control of your children in that manner? Is that expected of him from you? The answer is yes or no.
Yes.
Yes. Trust.
So why are you so disturbed that if I ask you for your power of attorney to administer your affairs?
Because I never gave you consent to administer my affairs.
But my prostitute solicitor witnessed you doing it.
Yeah, but I was tricked. It was a trick.
How was you tricked?
Because I didn't know what was on the piece of paper that I was signing.
Why?
Because I thought I was signing up for some money to purchase a house.
But did you not read the document?
The document's 100 pages long. How would I be expected to read the document? And it's written in a language that I don't understand. If for this, where that equals you plus him, it's all written in nonsense, legal speak.
So you signed up to a nonsensical document?
Well, it turns out that I did.
Well, can you see why I need to administer your affairs?
Yes, because I'm an oxymoron.
Yeah, you're as sharp can be.
A walking, talking oxymoron.
A walking, talking oxymoron, dead on paper, dead on word, have no power of attorney.
All from signing one piece of paper.
That is correct.
So what is to stop anyone else creating their own bank and doing exactly what you do so we make a profit, in the fact that in an honest way? We lend the money, we create the money, but it'll be an honest contract and transparent.
I would say absolutely nothing. I even know a man on the internet that does that. He sometimes goes by this name called the Spirited Man. He has that type of knowledge, but I don't think he's ever set up a bank. I don't think he's crooked enough.
So the banks aren't there to help us.
No, the banks are there to help themselves. They're there banking. They are not going to be releasing what the river brings to them, which is what a river bank is. They're going to harvest as much energy from the river as they can. That's what the bank does. The bank represents itself and its investors. You are not an investor of the bank. You are a customer, which we value very much. That's why when you open up bank accounts, we give you umbrellas to remind you how rainy it can get.
So do we need you?
At this current position, yes, because you don't have enough knowledge, expertise, enough friends, enough people to agree with you to formulate a bank.
So how can I obtain this knowledge?
No comment.
So we're just left hung to dry. There must be a way that we can find a way of educating ourselves and purging ourselves of these mortgages, these death pledges, these oxymoron words that are putting pledges of death on our children. This whole period is just full of death.
Yeah.
What would you say to anyone challenging? And I guess my question is, we now know that a mortgage means a death pledge. We know that you've lied to us. The money doesn't exist. In essence, we are creating the money for you. You have our full powers of attorney over everything by making us scribble on a piece of, well, not even a piece of paper. Now they're all digital. Now we know this information. What are you doing? I mean, are you scared? What are you doing to prevent the wider world from knowing this?
Oh, I do absolutely nothing. You do it to yourselves. You lie to yourselves.